I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you haven't already, I'd like to remind you to turn off cell phones, electronic devices, except for Tim, of course, because he's special. All right. Approval of the agenda.
Okay, I do have a couple of additions here. Special presentations. Mr. Stover is going to share a little information about the grant that we just received. And then under non-certified personnel, we were able to find a lunch/playground supervisor and looking to hire a student intern to help in the technology department. So if we can approve those with approve the agenda with the additions, that would be excellent.
Okay. So moved.
Second. Has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The agenda is approved as amended. Patron comments. Don't see anyone rushing to get up, so we will move on to approval of board minutes.
Need to go ahead and approve both these sets. They came to you together. Linda got those to you this week, so just need approval of the minutes from July 23rd.
Move that we, oh, go ahead. Go.
To approve the board minutes from
I'll-
July 23rd.
And I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? They are approved. Special presentations, Mr. Lloyd?
Yes, I asked Mr. Stover and Mr. Clevenger to join us to update the board. I'm sure you saw it on Facebook today, or maybe you didn't, but we got some really incredible news last night and asked Andy to share with us tonight kind of what this grant, where it came from, and Blake is here to kind of help answer the technical questions that you may have as a board. So Andy, go ahead. I've got your slides up there for you.
All right. So to get everybody up to speed a little bit, the grant that we just recently received was for $121,500. It is from the GEAR grant. This is actually in conjunction with the K.I.S.S Act funds we're using right now. So what the federal government did was they actually pushed out the K.I.S.S Act funds in March. In the spring, and basically in the spring when they pushed those funds out, that was basically to help schools get back on their feet in terms of PPEs, materials like that. Also, educational opportunities for our kids, and also finding nurses and other custodial staff to help mitigate the virus itself. The second round of the grant was the GEAR grant, which is a Governor's Emergency Education Relief Grant. This was a highly competitive grant, and basically what the federal government did was they pushed out $67 million to the state of Indiana, and it was competitive. Every school district in the state, as well as secondary institutions like Ball State, Vincennes University, other colleges actually applied for these grants. Not a lot of schools got this, so we are very fortunate to be able to get this and get this amount of funding. And basically the GEARS grant itself, the way it was geared up was actually to help facilitate our connectivity and infrastructure. So basically, long story short, in Union City as well as Randolph County, one thing that we faced and we continuously face is inability to have internet in rural households, as well as families that are lower socioeconomically, so we can't provide internet when they don't have internet at home if they can't afford it. So ultimately, the goal for us with the GEAR grant and working with Blake from the tech department was literally trying to find a way that we can get connectivity to all of our students, but also help the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is actually Randolph County as a whole. The county commissioners, as well as Randolph Economic Development, have been working for the last couple of years on developing a plan on how to get towers in the rural neighborhoods so we can actually get connectivity to everybody. So our plan is to utilize this money to first and foremost help our kids. K through 12, this is an opportunity for us to push out connectivity to all of our students for free of charge. And then also, we're looking to get partnerships with Randolph Economic as well as county commissioners that we can push out connectivity from a tower that Blake will talk about here in a second, basically pushing that out to all of our local families to where they can actually pay a fee to have internet, which they wouldn't have had beforehand. Because I can tell you right now that even at Blake's house, which is probably 2.5, 3 miles from the school, has issues with internet. Lindsay Burke, our school treasurer, she lives about 3 miles out on almost the Ohio border, and she has issues as well. So regardless of you having a Verizon wireless hotspot or anything like that, you just don't have internet. So we're trying to fix that as much as we can, and I will tell you that we've had a resounding amount of support and help through this process. Obviously, Blake and I, we sat down, we did all the background stuff, but we also had a lot of partnerships, a lot of sponsors through this. So Aaron, if you want to flip to the next page. It took a lot of people. I literally hit the ground running. I contacted the Randolph Economic Development, and we had 2 weeks to get this grant. And when you're writing a grant for $100,000+ it's not easy. So I reached out to Missy Williams. I'll start with Missy actually. She was kind of the focal point of this, and C.M. Bales. Randolph County United, that's a new title that they're going by. And they kind of helped me out, as well as Greg Beimer. As soon as I made those contacts, they reached out to Senator Jeff Rotz. Senator Rotz really helped out tremendously with this. He actually gave a letter of support to the Department of Education. That helped us out tremendously as well. But we had everyone from Chad Spence, from Union City, the mayor. We have Randolph County Council, Tom Kearns, and that was help from Blake. We also had Randolph Eastern School Corporation support from Aaron and Blake himself. And then we also had K.I.S.S Sites from 5 Star Technologies and State Representative J.D. Prescott. So it takes a lot of support to get these things up and running, but we had a lot of help with that. So that's basically a recap of the grant. So I'll give it to Blake right now so he can kind of explain a little bit of the nuances that go along with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm hoping that
Thank you.
with Blake here, maybe the board can generate some questions that the public may have on, you know, what's our vision for how this is going to work. And Blake attended an economic development meeting the other night, kind of saw the tower coverage that didn't include in Union City, and kind of this is going to fill in a big gap. So, Blake, go ahead.
Yeah, Greg Beimer asked me to speak at the REDC meeting, or their tech meeting that they had on Monday, to kind of bring everybody up to speed on the grant. At this point, we didn't realize that we would be awarded the grant. And so the tower that we are looking to raise, and we believe would be on site behind the building, is the same height as the smaller towers they're looking at and putting around the county. They've got 3 big ones they're going to put up to cover emergency services and bring us up to date as far as the surrounding counties and their technology. But their goal is to be able to provide internet access. They see internet access as a huge hurdle that needs to be overcome, so Randolph County can start reacquiring people, to bring people to town, to bring people to Randolph County, because the internet is required for the new jobs and things that are happening moving forward. And likewise, we see the issue with our students that are in rural settings, even some of our local areas. And we looked at, you know, some of the core foundations of where we started was how do we provide access to those areas in town that don't have it or can't afford it. And that was kind of where we started. And so reached out to wireless solutions, and they came and proposed this plan. I looked at it and said, all right, we need to scale that back a little bit. That's pretty extreme. But that put us close to where we wanted to be, and allows us to, in conjunction with the water towers, the tower that's here, to provide what I think would be excellent coverage for our area. The goal and hope would be that we can continue to fall within E-rate stipulations to provide SIPA-regulated, filtered internet access at low or no cost to those students that need it at home, including maybe even 6 miles away. I mean, this is the same type of technology that's proven and being used by places like New Lisbon and Watch Communications and the vendors that have been here for a while. So we're not trying anything too crazy or unproven. This is all stuff that is well tested, and hardware companies and vendors that we've been using for years on site to move data around the corporation, press box, offsite backup locations, things like that have worked very well for us. And with a 180-foot tower, we've got a lot of space that we can hopefully make attractive to, companies like Verizon or AT&T or T-Mobile or Watch Communications or New Lisbon or any of those folks that want to have space. So once the tower's there, it gives us a lot of flexibility. But with a 2-week grant turnaround cycle, there was a lot of details that I would start talking about and go, I don't have time for that, and we just move it. And so there's a lot of little pieces, and how does this happen pieces that we haven't nailed down yet. But it went from what seemed like a pretty far-fetched idea in this room talking to Aaron and Andy to, okay, I'm standing right here and here we go.
Yeah, I think we started at maybe like $20,000, just hoping to get 50 hotspots to send out with kids on, maybe on buses, you've seen those, to 150,000
Yeah.
project, which is far better, and will have far better success in the future. I think, so there's a lot of opportunity, and it's important just to note to everybody, our goal is to get our internet to our kids at low or no cost. But then to use it as a source of maybe some income to help us outfit. I mean, our technology department's going to have to be bolstered because there's going to be some maintenance there that we're going to have to take care of. So, but with the county doing what they're doing, we don't have to recreate the wheel on this. They stepped up before this was even done and said they were going to partner with us. They're already working on it. So a lot of the minutia is going to be figured out as we jump into this. But I'd say our timeline is as soon as possible. So. Anybody have questions for Andy or Blake? Just clarifying questions?
You mentioned they'll put smaller towers around the county, the counties want to do that, so that'll help clear out north.
The hope is yes.
Way out there.
Yeah, because looking at their map, I took a picture of during the meeting because I wanted to harass Mark Winkle because he still won't have coverage after they're done. And neither will you. But that Union City was not in there, was not in any of the circles. And from Jackson Township, I'm right on the edge of Jackson. I think I saw the blue line go over where my house was supposed to be, and so I'm barely there. And those of us that are on Verizon, or I'm sorry if you're on AT&T, it's not good. A hotspot in our area is, I don't classify that as livable. The government doesn't classify it as broadband. It's not here yet. And their tests show the same things. And so since Union City's totally vacant from that map, there's nothing going on there, they would consider it a metropolitan area. So their DSL spectrum, what's in town would cover that. But that doesn't cover, you guys are barely on DSL, barely and lucky. And it stops probably about 20 feet from your house. It doesn't get out there. And so we have the opportunity to jump in and get out there, and I think we can even get in front of some of the county stuff that they're putting out. Because they've got 3 large towers for EMS, but then the rest of their smaller ones will be the same as ours with 180 feet.
That's great.
And so we'll have that same opportunity, and with this funding, we might even be able to get out ahead of what they're doing. And work with them for sure, but since there's funding already in place, because I think they're trying to make sure there's other investors ready to be involved in some of those towers, because it's a big expense for them, so they're trying to make sure it all lines up, but I think we can really get out there.
I think it's important that all of our kids have the same advantage. And
Absolutely.
This is going to be great.
Exactly, and the biggest thing is, looking at the virtual model, looking at remote learning, e-learning opportunities, the worst situation we want to be in is if we have to go virtual for any reason and push kids back home, and if they don't have internet connectivity, that's hindering their educational experience. So making sure they have that's going to help our kids.
And more work on the teachers to,
Oh, absolutely.
like they did.
Do we know yet, is it gonna be income-based, or how are we gonna determine how?
No, so the goal for the county is to supply a low-cost internet option to everybody. Our goal is to get it to our students for free because they'll run through our filters. They'll still have to log in. They won't be able to access things that you wouldn't, that they could on other internet. So they'll still be filtered, but they'll have access to the content that we're pushing out. So.
Good. That's great.
Nice job, Phil.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
I do have two more grants I was going to discuss real quick, probably a minute apiece, and then we'll crash through those. The secondary grant, as we're waiting for this to come up, this was actually a grant that was proposed to me by none other than our school board member's daughter. So Wendy Smith's daughter reached out to me via email. That was probably, 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago.
Yeah.
So basically, Brittany Smith reached out to me, and she said that there was actually a grant opportunity that the Indiana Humanities Society was actually pushing out. And basically, the grant itself was for advancing racial equity. Obviously, in the day and age that we're in right now, educating our students is the utmost importance when it comes to racial equity. So basically what this grant was driven towards was getting books and resources into our library as well as our classrooms so kids can pick up books and learn about racial equity and inclusion, understanding that there's no difference between their skin color or anything like that. So basically getting books in the kids' hands and really educating them in that matter. So we got $878 to cover that. And I did want to say a special thanks to Indiana Humanities, Randolph Eastern School Board, Wendy Smith, also Yelp, Brittany Smith, and then also Randolph Eastern School Corporation, Jennifer Vincent. She actually went through all the books and let me know what books to purchase through that, so I do appreciate that, Wendy. Thank you so much.
No, it's an important topic and something we should cover.
Absolutely, so thank you so much. And then the final grant was also Randolph County Community Foundations grant, and this grant was for $2,000. The Randolph County Community Foundation pushed out $2,000 per school corporation, and basically what we did was we're going to utilize that $2,000 to go towards tablets for our high school that'll impact both our computer science program as well as our engineering program, kind of using that for our STEM initiatives. So that's kind of where we're at with that, and I think that's going to be able to provide 9 tablets. So 9 tablets in total between all of our 7th through 12th grade students. And for that grant, I'd like to thank Randolph County Foundation Executive Director Lisa Jennings, and then I would also like to thank Randolph County Foundation Program Officer Brenda Brumfield. So thank you guys, I appreciate it, and thank you for everyone that helped support all the grants for Randolph Eastern. I certainly appreciate it, and it wouldn't be possible without all of you, so thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stover.
Thank you. Can't believe you got that written in 2 weeks.
Is,
So that it's acceptable. I mean, my gosh.
it's a blur. It really is.
Yeah.
It's closing the door and
Yeah.
not communicating with anybody for a while.
Yeah, you guys worked hard, thank you.
And we're working on another one.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Stover. Mr. Clevenger, good work.
Okay.
You're up.
So we are into action items. Claims approval?
Motion to approve claims 6497 through 6568 and payroll claims 15 and 16.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Everybody gets paid. Field trips? None?
Nope.
Big surprise. Personnel consent agenda.
Yep. Flip to the next page there. We've already got Reagan Bradbury starting in our 6th grade classroom. So she's off to a good start for us. And then I have some non-certified personnel there. Allie Morgan moving down to be the junior senior high healthcare aide to assist with the COVID crisis. That'll be paid for out of the CARES Act. Bringing Mike Loomis in as part-time custodian. The biggest role for him is to assist in locker sanitizing daily, as well as trash pickup at the elementary. Probably eats up the biggest part of his day around lunchtime. Let's see here. Jackie Stump picking up the Grick preschool route. Becky Carpenter has agreed to come on as full-time custodian for us in the meantime while we continue to search for a second shift custodial person there. And then the 2 additions, Kennedy Phillips as a playground supervisor and Eric Tariquez as a student tech intern. And then your junior high cross country recommendation, Adam Klipstein. So I think we can approve all those together.
Yeah. I move that we accept the personal employment.
I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Updates.
All right, next item there, and Brad's here to kind of share, but I've provided the board, if you remember, go back to kind of last year, here's where the goals and things that we really want to try to get done this year. Happy to say that a strong majority of it is done, and the three that are kind of lasting are working on getting done. But Brad, you want to share some updates on summer work, kind of where we're at on the 200 wing?
Sure, I can kind of give just an overview.
Sure.
If they have any
Yep.
questions, you can ask. We've made great strides in the 200 wing at the high school as far as the classroom improvements with the ceilings, with the lighting, with the HVAC units. That was something that was simply started on 2 weeks before school started, and everybody kind of kicked it into gear down there, got everything put in. They've been working the last week and a half. They've got 6 of the 8 units set in the classrooms. Next week they'll complete the last 2. So now it'll just be tied up loose ends on that, which in saying that, in roughly less than 4 weeks, they're gonna do what the last company took all summer to do with the same amount of units. So, you know, it's something really came together quick, but it came together well and looks really nice. Just got the lockers in for the boys' locker room on Tuesday, got those unloaded off the semi. Took them down to the locker room yesterday, ran into a couple little snags on setting them in place with the current floor. We had to go down last night, take a cut-off wheel and cut all the base molding and everything back to get the lockers to fit tight against the wall and fit in place. So spent last night on second shift and another custodian today that spent most of the day finishing that up. So tomorrow we're hoping to get those set in place and get those utilized. Lighting, you can see we're about 90% done. The lights that you see that haven't been changed yet are actually emergency lighting. They had to get some special covers to meet code for the battery backups and everything that's on those. They do have those in, so next week they're going to be completing that. Then they'll complete the LED lighting on the exterior of the building, and then that project will be completed as well.
And then a list of other things, Corson is, they've got the wire pool for our wireless entry, key fob entry.
Now, how's that gonna work, Brad? Is everybody gonna have a code, different codes, or?
Actually went where everybody will have it on their cell phone, so they'll be able to put their phone up there and they'll have a reader that does that to let them into the building, and we'll turn the alarm off for them as well.
Okay.
We switch them on and off in real time too. That's one thing we like.
That's nice.
Well, I took a drive around the buildings before I got here, and everything just looks so nice. You guys do a great job.
It's got a good crew, worked hard to.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Bus barn looks light years better in my opinion, and we're working on the roof. We had good news on the quotes, the estimates for the roof to get that done as well, so.
Got a great quote, about
Yeah.
half of what we anticipated on the roofs. That saved us
Oh,
several
good.
$1,000s and a real nice setup. So they're gonna be starting on that. And that's something they can do while we're running, so won't interrupt anything and get that completed.
Good.
Any board members have any questions from the list there on?
No.
We pressed pretty hard.
That was a lot.
Yeah. That's cool.
Big
We
improvement.
don't plan on pressing this hard next summer.
Right.
We say that.
You had a little extra time. Now if we can just.
I said that publicly, Brad. You can hold me to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have witnesses. Well, hopefully we can get the boys to not tear up our locker rooms, so.
Take some pride in it. Well, we
Yes.
know one
Yes.
thing, they won't tear the bathroom stalls down.
Yes, sir.
Because they're not any, right?
No, they've got them, they're just made out of block.
The mail block, oh, good, good.
Well, it's just crazy that that happens.
Sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Brad. You and your crew's been awesome. Yeah. Brad's really helped make some decisions that he talked about us getting done faster than the last year what happened, and I'm going to say it's about $700,000 cheaper than what happened last year too.
Wow.
That's
So,
great.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're moving on to new business.
Yes. Just an update for the board. As of last Friday, we were at 864 students. I did check it this morning. I think we're at 860. We've got some students that are wanting to be virtual, but working out some internet issues. So we've withdrawn them so they're not way behind when they get there. So I'll give you an example. We got a family at the elementary of 4 students that are going to get enrolled next Wednesday when they have Wi-Fi access, those type of things. So these numbers, I watch them pretty closely. They're ever changing. Our virtual numbers, about 16% of our students right now are signed up for virtual coursework, which is fairly average. Had a meeting with superintendents this morning. We're right there with the county as far as average. I know Union County met with their superintendent this morning. They're about 18%. Our numbers are going to fluctuate. We know that's going to happen when we have COVID positive cases of students in the. It's going to alarm parents, and some parents are going to pull some students. We saw some of that this week, where some parents got a little on edge when they saw that we had some positive cases amongst some students, and they pulled them out, which is their right, and we respect that. But I think our teachers are starting to hit their groove. They're exhausted, but they're starting to hit their groove on offering a virtual option to our students as well. So I'd say 5 days, 6 days in, it's going as well as I could expect it to go at this point. So,
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that.
any questions on enrollment? Just stay tuned on what the state does with the budget and when they do an ADM count. It's dangerous. I really wish they would just freeze our count where it was, so we could forecast and budget much better. Delaying the count day for us may or may not help us. Some of our migrant families that are here in September and then are gone before that December count date, it's really honestly a crapshoot on what would be the best alternative or best case scenario. Best case scenario is the state board of accounts or the governors, they just make the decision to freeze. Okay, you had 864 students. That's where we're going to pay you for throughout the school year, so you can make some plans. But
Yeah.
that's my next topic is talk about the budget that I'm building.
You got us primed for it.
Yeah.
Okay, budget workshop.
Budget workshop. This is the first or second step really in the budgeting process for 2021. What I need from the board and need to be voted on is permission to submit Form 3, which allows me to publicize the advertising of our meeting in September, which is our public budget hearing, where I'll share the numbers for 2021 and start the hearing process. And just a reminder to the board, hearings in September, approvals in October for our 21 budget. But I do need a motion to submit the Form 3.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Next item there, just asking that we bring our sub bus drivers up to our normal daily rate as our daily bus drivers. We started the year with some subs, and this position is going to be, we've talked about, we're just going to have to keep an eye on our bus driving situation over the next couple of years, and this would be a good way to keep some people on the hook in the future. So just asking the board move that to $75 a day.
I move that we approve the $75 a day for the bus drivers.
I'll second.
So,
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Next item here, I'm asking the board to approve 6 elementary teacher stipends to proctor virtual content outside of their normal school day. Asking that we pay $2,000 a semester, and I did semester to determine. I really hope we don't need it next semester, to be honest with you. So just asking that the board approves that, and that will be paid out of the K.I.S.S Act funds.
And are those teachers, is that I noticed you had like one per grade level. Are they the ones doing all the online students?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So each of those teachers that were listed, they stepped up to offer. So if we have a kindergarten virtual lesson, all of our virtual students have the same kindergarten teacher,
Yeah.
first grade, second, so on and so
That makes
forth.
it
Yeah.
easier.
Okay,
It
good.
makes the communication.
Extra work
far-
for them,
yeah.
but
Makes the communication far cleaner
Yeah.
for our elementary parents.
yeah, that's important.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
It's Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Next item here is something that the board kind of charged me with trying to figure out last summer. I'm happy to share that we have, were approved for the community eligibility provision. Again, Blake, a lot of paperwork, a lot of spreadsheets and those type of things. Trella did a very nice job. Diana Loomis, great job putting this together. I'm happy to report that our elementary students, K.I.S, qualified for a free breakfast and lunch program. So parents that are watching, we don't need you to send lunch money in for your elementary students anymore. So if they're saying they need it, that may not be necessarily true. But we do have a call going out at 6 o'clock tonight to our parents to say we're part of this program. Program's good for 4 years. We can opt out at any time, but we know for 4 years that we do qualify for a free breakfast and lunch program for the elementary. And if I had to guess, looking at our numbers and how we're trending, I would say in 2 years our junior senior high will be able to reapply and qualify, but they just didn't qualify right now. So, but K-6 we will be serving free breakfast and lunch to all of our
Good.
students.
That's a benefit to
Oh,
all
yeah.
those families.
Yeah.
All families.
I do need approval or vote from the board just to allow us to take part in that program.
I make a motion to accept the community eligibility provision.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? It is an awesome program to be in. That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Is that, does that include the online students for picking up food too as well?
Yep, so all our virtual students all have the option to contact us, and we'll get lunches to the office if they want to come pick up
That's-
a lunch during the day. So,
That's great.
yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Next item is just first reading for the board to review some Neola policy updates, a lot of just language updates.
Mhm.
But just ask that the board review those over the next month and fire away any questions on things that they see throughout the month before we do approval and at the September meeting. Next item, review of reports. Should have had a chance to review the reports that were available. We'll start seeing cafeteria and athletic reports again this month, but we're doing okay. We're doing fine financially right now. So.
You're doing a good job.
Okay, so we're ready for corporation department comments?
Yep.
Corporation staff comments. Any comments from out there? No? Okay. Superintendent comments. I bet there's some of those.
I do have a couple. First thing is just a reminder of the October meeting, and it was on the calendar this way, but it is the 22nd. There's 5 Thursdays in October. It's the 22nd because that's the start of our fall break the week before. That was already on the calendar that way, but I just want to remind the board of that. Couple things, and Tim asked me a good question before we got started about athletic attendance. Just a reminder to our parents that we have our first home volleyball game tonight. Tickets are available. They are limited. We encourage everybody to check out our athletic webpage to access tickets. Tickets go to families first of the athletes, and then after that they go general admission admit sales. So athletics have started. We have our first volleyball game at home tonight. They played at Monroe Central on Tuesday, so we're off and running. Football's on the road at Tri-High Friday, and then we play Monroe Central next Friday. So we've got them up and going. And then the next thing I'll share just quickly is we're a week into the school year. Very satisfied with the safety measures and things. This is a team effort. From Brad's crew doing a lot of things differently that they wouldn't always do. Blake's crew doing a lot of things differently that they wouldn't always do. Our teaching staff definitely doing some different things. So in the midst of this chaos, I'm very happy with the effort here to start the school year. So that's all I have.
Okay. How's the lunch going with that different, with all the prepackaged, is that going okay?
Delivery.
Well, and I didn't even mention, our lunch, it's like a well-oiled machine right out of the gate. They run, you stop in sometime and see it, they're like worker bees. They're shuttling lunches to classrooms and shuttling them out. I think so far we'd say we're doing okay as far as protecting our classrooms, Brad. I think that's a fair assessment. But our lunch crew has been instrumental in the pickup and making sure things are not left a mess and that. But so
Wonderful.
that's a good
That's
question.
great.
Trell and her team, they are doing an amazing job
Great.
getting it started.
So I know we had a lot of questions going
Sure.
into how all that was going to
Yeah.
work. Not that people couldn't do the job, it's just how all the details were
Yeah.
gonna work out.
There's a lot of logistics involved and a lot of timing. I mean, things,
Oh, yeah.
one group has
A
to be
lot of
ready to
ground.
move to the next, and we have to be able to get them to the playground without mixing with other students. So it's
And the
going well.
trash
That's a
and the
good question.
mess and
Right.
making sure
Yeah.
that's taken care of.
Excellent.
That's
Good
great.
news.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any board comments?
We thank Linda for getting us signed up for the fall conference.
Yes, thank you for signing us up for the conference.
Linda and I will be doing that.
And again, congratulations on the grants. That's
Oh, my gosh.
just wonderful news. We appreciate all the time and effort
Mm-hmm.
everyone has put into it, and, you know, all of our employees have just knocked themselves out. It's great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, before we close, I'm going to kind of throw Linda out there. I told her and Lindsay today that I think we set the record for the most size in our office this week. Very stressful week with payroll switching over and turning in our annual financial report. So those two ladies were under the gun this week, but they did a nice job. They didn't lose their cool too many times. So
They survived. You survived and you did it well.
That's why the sign in the bathroom says, "This is my happy place."
That's right.
Go in there and hide. It looks really cute. You guys should check it out.
Any other board comments? In that case, this meeting is adjourned. Thank all of you for coming.
Thank you for reminding us about that.
Oh, yeah. I just cleaned up my inbox.
Yeah.